Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to Midday Live from the News Hub here at Adesawe Kanda in Accra. My name is Efua Tieku. The headlines this afternoon. Eastern Regional Iyoko boss recalled after suspension over comments deemed unethical and unprofessional. Green track students vacate as gold track badge gets ready to go to school tomorrow. Minority in Parliament questions government over whereabouts of Justice Brobe Commission report on creation of new regions. On the international front, Democrats recapture House of Representatives while Republicans maintain hold on the Senate in the U.S. midterm elections. Do stay with us for the next 60 minutes for details of these and more. Now, all three panelists on the New Day Current Affairs show say they find nothing wrong with the assertions made by the Eastern Regional Iyoko boss leading to his suspension. They argue it is appropriate for certain governments to prosecute appointees who are culpable first so as to avoid being branded as witch-hunting political opponents.
It's one form of punishment when you are found guilty. One form of punishment is suspension. So how can you be suspended when you are yet to be investigated? But be as it is, we are asking ourselves, why will he even be suspended? What did he do wrong for being suspended?
What he said, what is unprofessional?
What is unethical about what he said? The fact that he believes that some riots are happening, and the government of the day is not showing so much commitment in terms of prosecuting those riots or prosecuting those individuals perpetuating the riots. The question we should be asking ourselves, if indeed we are really committed to fighting crime or corruption.
At some instances, it is clear that corruption has taken place. Those same people are allowed to stay in office while investigation is carried out. Another person who wants to urge the president to prosecute people who are corrupt under his government has been asked to go home. So it is clear that the motive of this government is not to fight against corruption, but to kill anybody who had the energy to expose corruption.
You have to fight within so that the people outside will not say that, assuming we are dealing with the NDC, all what they'll be singing is witch hunting.
Right.
So when you fight within, if you fight your own people, nobody out there will say that you are witch hunting your opponent. And for me, yesterday I said on one TV station that for me, if that indeed the statement that he made, I see nothing wrong with it.
Did you hear the statement yourself?
Also, that discussion on New Day was on the back of the story that the suspended Eastern Regional Director of the Economic and Organized Crimes Office has been recalled. Now, the Executive Director of Iyoko ACP, KK Amwa, suspended his Regional Director, Fred Jenny. The Regional Iyoko boss had suggested governments must show commitment to the fight against corruption by prosecuting corrupt officials first.
I think before we can fight corruption effectively in Ghana, the ruling government should be ready first and foremost to prosecute their own when the slightest incidence of corruption is raised against the ruling government.
Fred Jenny, until his suspension, was the Eastern Regional Director of the Economic and Organized Crime Office. He may have opened his mouth too wide than he was supposed to. TV3 can't confirm he was detailed to attend an anti-corruption program in Koforidua by his bosses, where he was billed to speak on the subject. Moment after his interview to the media on how corruption can be fought, his bosses fired him. But a statement issued by Iyoko and signed by its executive director, ACP KK Amwa retired, said the comments made by Fred Jenny, though his personal utterances were unprofessional and unethical, hence the suspension. Sources say some government and party officials are unhappy with the Iyoko boss's action and considers it reckless. The minority has pushed for his reinstatement, calling his suspension bad. There are indications the suspended Iyoko director may have been recalled.
As Iyoko issued a statement yesterday in respect of the suspension of the Eastern Regional boss, I'm reliably informed that per the investigations, the primary investigation that they have done, they have reinstated the Iyoko boss,
the Eastern Regional
Iyoko boss this morning, and he's to report to work and continue on what he was doing as an Eastern Regional boss.
Deputy Attorney General Godfred Yeboadami has prayed an Accra High Court to set aside decision to convict the Inspector General of Police David Asante-Apietu for contempt of court. The Deputy AG is convinced the trial judge erred in law.
The IGP was on September 25, 2018, found guilty of contempt of court for willfully disobeying orders to provide security for the execution of a court order for the sale of a 12-block flat belonging to two citizens, Samuel Agri Jr. and Augustine Jechi. The presiding judge, Justice Daniel Mensah, unhappy with the conduct of the police chief, was of the view the appropriate sanctions needed to be preferred. But before the sanction could be imposed, the Deputy AG asked the court to take a second look at its earlier decision. The court has set November 19 to rule on the Deputy AG's request. Selom Amenya, TV3 News.
Education and students of the green track under the double track free senior high school system are vacating today. The gold track students are to go to school tomorrow. Josephine Frimpong visited one of the schools in the Greater Accra region and has the following report.
The first batch of the free SHS students are going home today. I'm at the Accra High School to interact with the students to share with us their experience over the period. Tell me about the free SHS.
Personally, it's good. It has, we've been taught, we learned a lot, and also helped some of my friends because others out there do not have good financial background, so it will help them, those with poor financial background, to be able to attend SHS.
Rita, tell me, how was it for you studying under the free SHS policy? What were some of your challenges?
To me, because it was first track and second track, we had to run fast so that the second trackers too can come. So we were rushing a little bit so that we can reach half of the syllabus.
Learning under the free SHS.
I would say it's an advantage, and it's at a point it becomes hectic a little because you're combining all. Like you're rushing, you know that you don't have ample time, so you need to grasp everything quickly so that at least you can side by side everything.
So were you given materials, now you're going home? What are you picking home?
They gave us core textbooks, which is mathematics, English, social studies, and integrated science. Then we're given our uniforms and our kits.
Let's now speak with the PRO of the GES, Cassandra Chum. Thank you for your time, Cassandra. So what is the arrangement for the green track students as they go home on vacation? Cassandra, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Cassandra?
Hello?
Yes, thanks for your time. I was asking, what is the arrangement?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me, Cassandra?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So what is the arrangement for the green track students as they vacate and go home?
Well, many thanks for having me. Very good afternoon to your viewers. Well, yes, we are vacating today, And like we indicated earlier, I mean, when we began the double track discussions, they are on vacation. So vacation is vacation. And then we're hoping that they return or school would resume on the 5th of January because of the Christmas holidays and all of that. So they'll be resuming on the 5th of January. Then they would do the other half of the semester to complete the first semester.
Right, so we spoke with some of the students and they said they've been given their core textbooks, I presume for them to be studying at home. But is there any other arrangements for them?
For now, they are on vacation and vacation is vacation.
Right, so what about the incoming student, the gold track? Is everything set for them? Are the teachers in place?
Hello, please, I didn't hear you.
So I'm asking about the gold track. Is everything set for them? Are the teachers in place?
Yes. The gold track will be resuming on the 10th of November. We have, on their placement form, we indicated on the 8th. And so let me use the opportunity to also tell the parents that should somebody even go on the 8th, that's tomorrow, we have informed the heads that they should not be turned back. But officially, they are going on the 10th. And so for preparations, yes, we are set. Just yesterday, we released the outcome of that test. We have recruited a number of them. I want to also indicate that these new teachers are not going to be on the gold track alone. There are a number of old teachers also on the gold track. And so let me alleviate the fears of some parents and other people who are also saying that new teachers, set of new teachers are going to be on the gold track. That's not true. We have old teachers also on the gold track, and these new teachers would also, some would be in the second and then the third years. And so not that gold track would only be, having the new teachers. And so basically, and then we are also making plans now that we are done with the teachers. We have other needs in terms of non-teaching, and so definitely we'll also augment the non-teaching staff with cooks, the security, the pantry hands that we'll also add to the staff there because of the numbers. We also need all of these staff. In terms of furniture, indeed, there has been a number of hard delivery of emergency furniture to some of the schools that we had issues with inadequate furniture. And so we have made adequate preparations for the gold track.
Well, Cassandra, then again, during the earlier process, before the green track went to school, we realized that some students still had some difficulties with registration. How would that situation be solved as they head to school on the 10th?
Yes, a number of those who had challenges with them, they came straight to the PSHS Secretariat, and indeed they were all, attended to. And then those, even today, we have a few other people also there, and they are being helped to get their placement. And so for that, we have solved a number of them, and we are sure that on the 10th, they'll all be going to school.
Right, thank you very much. Cassandra Chum is the Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Education Service. Now let's turn our attention to a set of students, but this time around from Cameroon. The 79 students kidnapped from a boarding school in Cameroon's northwest region have been freed. A BBC report monitored in Accra said the school's principal, the driver, and the teacher are still in captivity. The circumstances of the students' release is unclear, but authorities say they are being questioned before being released to their parents. According to the Presbyterian Church of Cameroon, the students were abandoned in one of their buildings in the town of Bafut, about 15 miles from Bamenda. The church has also said that Sunday's kidnapping was the second kidnapping at the same school in less than a week. Cameroon's authorities have blamed the kidnap on Anglophone separatist militia who have called for the closing of schools in English-speaking regions. Now, let's go on to Skype. Right, so now let's go on to Skype and speak with a Cameroonian student in Ghana, Genesis in Choperu. Thank you for your time this afternoon. So how does the news come to you of these 79 students finally freed?
Hi, thank you too for having me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. The news doesn't come as a surprise, as this is a daily live in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon. Every day, people are being kidnapped, people are being shot dead. And students haven't been to school since 2016. So it's been like, this is the third consecutive year that students haven't had the freedom to go to school and feel safe on the road or feel safe in school. So
now, you're
it's not a
saying that
big
this
surprise.
is a daily affair in Cameroon. I mean, how does that feel? How does school move on? I mean, as this is a daily occurrence.
So it's a push and pull kind of thing. So the armed groups, or those who call themselves restoration forces, they don't want school to go on in Cameroon because they feel like some people haven't had that privilege to go to school. So everyone else should stay indoors and let them fight for the restoration of their country. But on the side of the government, they are also pushing students to go to school, pushing schools to open for students to come and learn, because we can't deprive everyone of their rights to education. So there's that side of the government pushing people to go to school, and there's that side of the restoration forces who don't want schools to go on as usual. So those who, whether you want to go to school or not, you're still in danger. So those who finally go, they are left in very unsafe situations, because while in school, you might either get your schools burnt down or you get attacked on the way to school, and this happens every single day.
Does this affect the number of students who go to school? Because I presume that if it is unsafe for you to be in school, then a number of children or a number of parents would not send their children to school. Is that the case?
Yes, definitely. Most people have resorted to sending their children over to the French-speaking side, where schools are going on normally. But the few that have not been able to send their kids outside of the affected regions, or very few parents feel safe to send their kids to school. So the attendance in schools are not up to 50%.
Now, how do you see the attempts by governments in the management of this confusion between the Anglophones and then the English-speaking and the French-speaking?
I think that is what everyone is calling for, because many people, international organizations and other foreign countries, they feel like the government is not putting enough strategy in place to resolve the situation, and everyone is calling for dialogue between the government and the armed groups, which is not happening as of the moment.
In your opinion, do you think a dialogue would work?
I think a dialogue is the first step towards resolving the issue. Many people would say if a dialogue is called between the government and the armed groups in the presence of a neutral party who would then mediate the conversation, then they can find a solution out of this, because there's no situation without a solution.
Thank you very much, Genesis, for your time this afternoon.
Thank you too.
Right, now let's still stay on education, but this time in Accra, because members of the Teacher Trainee Association of Ghana took to the streets in protest of what they say is the first of a series of demonstrations against the dictatorship by the Education Ministry. Luong Falong was with the demonstrators.
Members of the Teacher Trainee Association of Ghana have taken to the streets in what they say is the first of a series of demonstrations against a directive by the Ministry of Education asking them to register to be posted by the National Service Secretariat. The demonstration started at Circle and is heading towards the Ministry of Education, where they hope to be given audience to speak with the minister.
All that we are doing here signifies that the Minister of Education, the Ministry of Education, is not treating teacher education well. Ever since he came to office, I think most of the times, all our petitions that we send, he doesn't respond to any of them. What he wants to do is what he does. Whilst we were waiting for our postings, another statement came that we should register with Ghana National Service for us to be posted by national service, which is against the rules of engagement. No attention is given to us. No attention. And it seems now we are not living in democratic country as we know. It is about autocracy. And therefore what we are doing, we want to register our displeasure to everyone, especially in the Minister of Education, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. You use your own money to rent house, you use your own money to do everything.
But you're giving allowances.
We are not giving any money. That money comes from our pockets.
So you are counting the period on the field as your national service?
On the field. I'm talking about services we render to the country. So that is one year.
A lot of people will argue that everyone does national service. So why would you be demonstrating against something like that?
The Ministry of Education came out with a release, and it stated clear that Ghana Education Service will do the posting after we are done with the licensure exams, and afterwards the first 1 year will be used as 1, probation period for Ghana Education Service, 2, induction period for National Teaching Council, and then 3, it's that same year will be considered as national service period. So when you are done serving with that 1 year, you will be awarded with national service certificate. Now, currently, the issue is we should register with National Service Scheme, which we have already done the registration with Ghana Education Service.
So what reaction would be appropriate for you right now from the ministry?
What we are asking the ministry to do is that Ghana Education Service should do the posting.
You heard from the president of the National Association, and he insists that members of the association want the Ministry of Education to continue to handle all issues concerning postings of teacher trainees. He also argues that so far the response from the ministry has been autocratic.
Now let's turn our attention to some politics. The minority in Parliament is demanding government makes public the Justice Brobe Commission of Inquiry report on the creation of new regions. Addressing the media in Accra, the minority leader Haruna Idrisu said the report, which was presented to government 5 years ago, still remains a secret document through an ally, though an ally has been laid in Parliament.
We wish to state from the very onset that we are not against the creation of new regions. And our party manifesto of 2016 bears ample testimony to this. We however wish to draw the attention of the good citizens of Ghana to the failure of government to publish the report of the Justice Brobe Commission of Inquiry on the creation of the proposed new regions. It's been almost 5 months since the Commission submitted to government its report containing recommendations to create new regions. Its contents, however, shrouded in so much secrecy that even Parliament, as a co-equal branch of government, has been officially denied access to the report. So we demand that government publishes the full report of the Justice Brobe Commission of Inquiry and a copy made available to the Parliament of Ghana. Parliament is being asked to conduct a surgical operation in the dark because to understand and appreciate the constitutional instrument, the basis will be the report, the findings, and its content. Indeed, Article 5(4) of the Constitution provides that where the Commission of Inquiry finds that there is a need and a substantial demand for the creation, alteration, or merger, it shall recommend to the President that a referendum be held, specifying the issues to be determined by the referendum and the places where the referendum shall be held. It is in the interest of good governance, openness, truthfulness, and transparency that the report of the Commission of Inquiry is made public to enable the nation verify that the constitutional instrument before Parliament is truly reflective of the contents of the Commission's report and its recommendation.
Now, some presiding members across the country are pushing for a 5% allocation of the District Assembly Common Fund to Assembly members. According to them, members have been denied resources to execute their mandates for far too long, hence the decision to embark on this campaign. They argue the only way to empower Assembly members to fully execute their functions is to get a portion of the Common Fund released to them. Now, Bernard Odro-Techi is a presiding member for Sunyani West District Assembly and who is also a leading member of this campaign. He joins me in the studio. Bernard, thank you.
Thank you for.
So, first of all, tell us what has occasioned this campaign for this release to be given to you, because we do know that under the current law that you are supposed to be given some allocation.
Very well.
So, what more are you asking for?
Okay, so let me say a very good afternoon to your viewers and listeners. And let me make it clear that if you look at the 1992 Constitution, we have basically 3 officers who are elected by popular votes. That is the president, parliamentarians, assembly members. President is paid with the vice president, together with everybody at the presidency. Parliamentarians are paid on a monument. They will even take end of ex gratia. But assembly members who are also elected like the president and the MPs are never paid since 1988. But if you take the same constitution, that enjoined the president to perform by constitutional mandates, MPs to perform by constitutional mandates, also enjoined assembly members to perform certain functions under the Local Government Act 936. So insurmountable functions we are supposed to perform. Now these assembly members, number one, are not on salary, not on monthly allowance. We don't enjoy any common fund. I believe that for the 30-year down the line from 1988 to 2018, we need to rethink. Let us turn the framers of the Constitution for giving a local governance. But we must today begin to ask ourselves very teaching questions. That what can we do to empower assembly members? How can we resource them? So the idea and the advocacy, assembly members common fund. Now the common fund is seeking
the allocation given to you, what is that supposed to be?
Exactly. Now, according to this constitution, per chapter 252, talks about the common fund to all assemblies in Ghana. And that is 5% of the national revenue. Now, this 5% gets to the assembly as 100%.
That's right.
This 100% is divided into below category 1. 5% goes to MPs as MPs common fund. 3% go to people with disabilities at PWD common fund. 0.7% go to HIV patients in the district municipality or whatever area. The remaining 5% is supposed to be given to assembly members. I repeat, 5% of the remaining ought to be given to us as community-initiated project. That 5% is always left to the discretion of MMDCs. Now, the argument we are making is that let us give the legal framework, let us restructure it, and call it assembly members common, make it statutory. Now, once it becomes statutory, it doesn't become the discretion of an MMDC to say that this is the way it must go. So already, we are not calling for the government looking for additional funding. No. The 5% is already there, embedded in the allocation. But its disbursement is quite discretionary. So all I am saying with my other presiding members in Ghana is that let us give the legal capacity to say that today we have assembly members common fund.
So is that to suggest that some presiding members don't get this allocation?
Exactly.
And what will be the basis for not getting it?
Exactly. And that's the reason why the advocacy is commencing. You see, in democracy, when you don't speak out, people don't hear you. So democracy enjoins you to voice out when you think that you are not being treated fairly. The point is simple. No assembly member, no assembly in Ghana has a clear-cut policy on this 5%. So what I'm saying is that government at the presidency level knows that this 5% goes to assembly for community-initiated project. But in reality, this is not the case.
Well, could it also be that perhaps the presiding members are not coming up with these community-initiated projects, and that's why they're not getting it?
No, everybody does. If you come to my assembly in Sunyani West, people write, people follow up, they don't get it. So there is a point to speak to the government machinery that enough is enough. After 30 years, let us begin to ask ourselves, as we are empowering the presidency, parliamentarians, how can we empower the one at the ground? And mind you, if you take the political structure, assembly members are those who are in direct contact with the local people. These people don't have any resources, but we expect much from them. So the argument is that let us empower them, let us give them a clear-cut, sustainable fund. So tomorrow, if assembly members don't perform, then we have a cause to question them.
So do you have the backing of the other presiding members across the country?
As I speak with you, over 59 PMs in Ghana have endorsed the initiative. It's going around the whole country. And I can assure you that by close to the year, we can get about 90% to endorse it. When that is done, We will table a special petition to the Common Fund Administrator with copies to all stakeholders of local government. And when we get to that level, I know the President of Ghana is a listening president. And when we get to that bridge, we shall cross it.
Thank you very much, Bernard Odro Tichi, who is a presiding member for Sunyai West District Assembly. Now it's time for MTN Video Report and our citizen journalist reports on an abandoned tricycle for over a year in the Upper East region.
This is Upper East region. This is Sada Motors. They brought these things over 2 years ago, and they have left them being stand in the sun. Some are rotting, the engine have spoiled, rain have beat them. These things have been left over 1.5 years, and they are still there. All this area are some of the motors. They are there, and every day sun is just hitting on them. So we need your help. This is what the leaders of Ghana are doing to us, and they are saying that there are no jobs. If these things are distributed to us, it will make us have small jobs, but they have been left here.
Thank you very much. You're watching Midday Live on TV3. Let's now take a short break. We'll be back with business. The Energy Commission has embarked on an inspection of shops in the industrial area of Accra to check the energy efficiency compliance level of electrical appliances. The exercise aims to also educate the general public on energy efficiency standards.
Ghana is operating a mandatory appliance standards and labeling regime. Under this, importers and retailers are required to import and sell only products that meet minimum efficiency and performance standards approved by the Ghana Standards Authority. In 2017, the Energy Commission launched the Certified Appliance App. The Appliance App enables consumers of electricity and electrical appliances to, among others, verify whether a refrigerator they intend to buy meets Ghana's energy efficiency standards and has been labeled appropriately. As part of programs marking the Energy Commission's 20th anniversary, some shops in the North Industrial Area of Accra were inspected to check their energy efficiency compliance level.
You have an informed decision to make. Based on the design, based on the size, based on the capacity, you can still decide in terms of monetary values how much this fridge will cost when you pay for the bills. So as a customer, you are well informed that this fridge I'm buying, this is how much I'll be paying in terms of my bills.
Inspector of Energy Efficiency at the Energy Commission, Hubert Zan, said it is an offense in Ghana to import, display or sell appliances unless they meet the minimum performance standards and are properly labeled.
Sometimes, upon clearance at the airport, when they come into the market, they change the information based on the labels. So 1 star has been approved for an importer, he comes into the market, and then they print their own labels, putting 4 star, 5 stars. Because the more the stars, the more efficient it is.
Products which do not meet the standards will be taken off shelves.
Lawyers of CDH Savings and Loans are preparing to sue the receiver of the defunct Capital Bank to retrieve in excess of 14.63 million cedis, audits plus damages, including loss of business. Managing Director of CDH Savings and Loans, Martin Asamoah, says the CDH legal team and that of the receiver had several meetings and agreed on a set-off payment plan. Hence the decision them to go to court was surprising.
An email dated Wednesday, February 14, 2018, from Joe Deborah at firstlaw.org, addressed to Asamoah at cdhgroup.co, shows Capital Bank owed CDH Savings and Loans in excess of 26.28 million cedis, while CDH Savings and Loans owed Capital Bank in excess of 11.65 million cedis. The two parties agreed to set off the figures. Managing Director of CDH Savings and Loans, Martin Asamoah, indicated The lawsuit by the receiver of Defiant Capital Bank for 100 million cedis was actuated by malice and utmost bad faith.
We agreed with the receiver's lawyers. We sat down, we had a meeting, we looked at the figures, what they have in their books, what we have in our books, and they agreed that, yes, the receivers of Capital Bank is to pay CDH savings and loans an amount of 14.6.
He indicated CDH Financial Holdings, which is different from CDH Savings and Loans, owed Capital Bank in excess of 69 million cedis, but the agreement was for Capital Bank to deduct 14.6 million cedis, leaving 55.14 million cedis outstanding and payable by CDH to Capital Bank clients.
If for any reason this payment is not made and we are taking financial holdings to court, what I don't understand is why do you include CDH Savings and Loans, a company that you rather own? You are supposed to pay me money. I've agreed that you can use my funds to offset what Holdings owns you, and we're taking them to court and you include savings and loans. This one, I've never heard it before. I don't understand that.
CDH Savings and Loans have set its legal team in motion to retrieve in excess of 14.63 million cedis from the Defiant Capital Bank and its receivers.
Accrued interest to date, because this figure was as at August 2017, for the severe damages done to my business. Since yesterday, I've received calls, letters from my deposit people who have funds with me to come and withdraw their money. Panic withdrawal. I have to look for money to pay them. There's a refinancing cost. You may even have to end up taking funds at a higher interest cost to pay those who are calling on you, because they are not matured. What I want to assure all clients, loyal clients of CDH Savings and Loans, that there shouldn't be any panic withdrawal. Their funds are safe.
Now let's still stay on the banks, because GCB Bank has begun investigations into circumstances under which monies were withdrawn from customers' accounts by some unknown persons. Some customers of the bank have been complaining that unspecified amounts were withdrawn from their accounts without their authorization over the weekend. The incident is said to have occurred 5 days ago, when some customers randomly received text messages indicating that monies had been debited from their accounts. It is not known how and who was behind the deductions. All ATMs of the bank were then shut down by management to avoid further withdrawals. It is not clear how many customers have been affected and the total amount of money withdrawn. The bank confirmed the incident and indicated that measures to strengthen the bank's security system to prevent further withdrawals are underway. The bank has also assured it will refund the money to affected customers after a validation process. GCB Bank has, however, apologized to affected customers and assured their accounts are safe. You're watching Midday Live on TV3. Stay tuned. The mysterious case of Delilah Ambrose continues in Season 3. Now, detectives are still trying to solve the puzzle of Delilah's ex-husband's death. Sylvia Ambrose is on the edge as investigations are now pointing in her direction. Don't miss all the action and the drama on Delilah.
That woman killed my husband. Objection, Your Honor.
Delilah's world becomes an open book when Chief Ambrose's first wife, Sylvia, accused her of homicide. Sensationalizing the biggest court case in the city, investigators mount a search for the unknown killer.
She's a Jezebel, and that is why I owe it to your father to walk into that courtroom and convince the judge that she belongs in a state prison.
Solving the puzzle of Delilah's ex-husband's death proves an uphill task for detectives. But in Season 3, Delilah's court case is finally over. The verdict leaves people asking questions.
I'm done with your deceit. This means war. Find Delilah and bring her to me.
You need to use your head. Delilah is the most intelligent woman I know. And if we want to beat her, we have to use the same tactics.
The story becomes complex when Delilah fled to an unknown location until her baby is born. Don't miss the action, the drama and the excitement in blockbuster TV series Delilah Season 3. Delilah shows every weekday after News 360. Make a date.
She will do anything to get money, power, and respect.
Big Brother Africa winner Delage Matthews has confirmed rumors that she is dating footballer Emmanuel Adebayo. The reality TV star, after months of keeping mute on their relationship, disclosed in a post on Instagram that she and the Togolese footballer are an item. Rumors of their relationship first started in November 2017. The two, in spite of the numerous hints, refused to confirm or deny the relationship. But on Tuesday, Delage confirmed that they have been dating for a year now. Happy first year anniversary, baby. You are such an awesome man. You make everything so special. I can't wait to make more memories with you, my darling boyfriend, she said in a post. Now, UK-based Ghanaian musician and antenna hitmaker Fuse ODG has revealed in an interview that there is a lot of pressure on him from his parents to get married. When asked if he had plans to get married anytime soon, the musician, aged 30, hinted he has plans to get married by the time he believes is not right now. Fuse also revealed that even though he is not currently married, he has someone in his life who is helping him to effectively defend himself anytime the pressure from his parents come up. Born Nana Richard Abiona, Fuse ODG further hinted he may tie the knot sooner than expected. And that's all for Midday Live for today. My name is Efua Tieko. For more news, do go to 3news.com. Have a lovely afternoon.